Hi everyone, and welcome to Blues Glitter, our new YouTube channel where you get to sit down with me, Ryan, a part owner of Blues Glitter, and we get to make stuff together. So before we jump right into it, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button and make sure to comment and share with your friends. So let's get right into it. So today we're going to work on how to make a basic mold. So I struggled a lot in the beginning with molds because molds are hard. I'm not gonna lie, they're hard. Epoxy's hard. It's very hard, it's very finicky, but I wanna give you some tips to make sure that you can make the best molds that you can make without having to make hundreds, probably thousands like I have. Okay, first let's start off with some supplies that you're gonna need. So these are your biggest friend. These are medicine cups, and these are absolutely crucial whenever it comes to measuring out epoxy. If you don't have these, don't even make molds. Just wait till you get some of these, okay? Super cheap on Amazon or Walmart or wherever you can find them for really cheap. So, medicine cups, and of course, your molds. So, sorry, my molds are kind of dirty, but here are some molds that I'm going to be using. So today I'm going to use a 3-inch circle mold. It has a little keychain hole at the top, and usually before I start, because if your molds look anything like mine, they're going to get all this crap on them. So what you're going to want to do is just take some tape. I am lazy and was too lazy to go all the way to my room to get some tape. So I use transfer tape on the mold that I'm going to use to clean that up, and so that gets all the debris and glitter and whatever else that you have on there. But let's move on to some other things. Of course, you're going to want epoxy. Epoxy is great. It doesn't really matter what brand you use. Just make sure that you're consistent with your brands whenever you use it. So let's say you use Envirotex Light for your mold. You need to use Envirotex A and B, whereas let's say you use like We Spin It epoxy, then you'll need to use both A and B that are We Spin It brand for that specific bunch, because if not, you're going to get gross mushy letters, and that's not fun. And also get your favorite glitter. So it doesn't really matter what kind of glitter you use. It just depends on what effect you're going for. So today I'm going to be using San Antonio. It is a custom mix that I did for our company, Blues Glitter. And there it is in the Next, what you're going to need are some mixing cups. It doesn't really matter what you use. I just use these cheap little bathroom cups that I get from Walmart. Then you're also going to need some popsicle sticks. I like to use the big popsicle sticks. You can use the skinny ones, but these really make sure and mix everything together. So I really prefer using these. Want to get some gloves. I just use vinyl gloves just so your hands don't get epoxy all over them. It's very sticky. It's very gross to get off and very hard. But if you do get epoxy on your hands, pro tip, use baby wipes or Dawn soap, and that'll get it off and you won't be so sticky. So I personally prefer to use 91% isopropyl alcohol because it disperses the glitter on the back so it doesn't get this weird all bunched up sort of look. And sorry, they're shooting fireworks while I'm trying to film. Happy New Year's Eve, by the way, or New Year's Day, probably whenever this is going out. Anyhow, so 91% isopropyl alcohol. You're going to want to use this. Nothing less. Has to be 91%. Preferably 100% if you can do that. But 70 or 50 or anything like that has too much water and it will ruin your mold. So it has to be 91% if you're going to use alcohol to pop bubbles in your mold. So you can either use that, or I also like to use a torch. I only use this usually whenever I'm working on smaller things. Don't use these together. This is just basically a bona fide broken down flamethrower if you do. So I made that mistake, so you don't have to. If you want to know what happens, you just squirt, squirt, and then flames. And didn't mean to do that. Anyhow, don't do that. Before I get into how I make my molds, I just wanted to show you a couple of finished ones just because I think they're so pretty and they're really fun to make. They're honestly like my favorite ones to make. Just because you can also put so much vinyl on it, and I am obsessed with vinyl, but that is a story for another day. So these are some of the really pretty ones I used and make. This is Slytherin that I used to create, and this one is Karma, and I accidentally spilled some extra glitter in there, but it kind of gives this cool 3D effects, so I really like it. But yeah, so this is what yours is gonna come out like, hopefully, if you follow my instructions. First thing is to get all your supplies ready. So I got my 91% alcohol, my medicine cup, and my measuring. So I'm going to measure out 15 cc's of part A and then 15 cc's of part B. Next, I torch out the bubbles and add glitter in. I'm using San Antonio, and I'm just going to mix it around, make sure I'm scraping the sides, and then pour it into my mold, making sure I get everything into the mold. And next, I spray it with some 91% isopropyl alcohol.
6 hours later.
Okay, so after demolding your mold, it should come out like this. Super pretty. You get really rich colors. It's hard. You can't bend it. And the first sign that you mix your epoxy wrong is you get a bendy mold, which stinks. And I'll tell you how to troubleshoot that in another video. But I hope you like your creation, and I hope this gets you started on making one of your first molds. Bye.